For people that follow me on Instagram or even are friends with me on Facebook, they're always seeing travel pictures of me somewhere across the world. And the question that I get asked a lot of times is like, Oshando, how can you afford to travel so much? I'm actually a student in Germany. I'm doing my master's in computer science. Apart from that, I also have a part-time job, which I think I use most of my money to fund my traveling. A couple weeks ago, I was actually in Asia for like 6 weeks. At first, I was in Philippines, and then I was in Malaysia, India, Pakistan, and then Nepal. So that was like 6 weeks of traveling, and probably that was one of the longest trips I've done in a while. And right now, I'm actually in Nuremberg in Germany, so I'm not even at home. Most people don't think it's possible for you to travel in a cheap way. So the fact that I travel so much, it means that, okay, I must be rich. Like super, super, super rich. Traveling in your comfort zone is gonna be expensive. When I travel, I'm more interested in, okay, trying to live as much as possible opposite to how I live back home. Because I travel out of my comfort zone, that is one of the main reasons that I'm then able to actually save so much money, and then I'm able to travel so many times throughout the year. In terms of the ways that I save money, I'm just going to talk about them in 3 different areas. So I'll talk about the accommodation, the transportation, and of course, food. Being in Germany gives me a great opportunity actually to then go to other places without spending a lot of money. As a university student here in Germany, we also have a semester ticket. And then what this ticket allows us to do is to then travel on all trains and buses and forms of transportation within the state that the university is in. So then I'm able to jump on a train to, for example, to go to Cologne or to go to Düsseldorf or to wherever. And then of course I can easily get to the airports within the state and even out of the state. I love to travel off season. So when all the tourists are away, that's when I want to travel, because it tends to be cheaper that time. But the flights that I book them sometimes in the middle of the week, especially the early morning flights. Sometimes they tend to be cheaper, and then I go for those flights. That means sometimes that I have to sleep at the airport, and again, that's saving. I could stay at the hotel and then go to the airport early in the morning, but then it saves to just go late to the airport and just sleep there. I love connected flights because they are a great way for you to get a preview of a country or of a city. And then you can then decide, okay, it's worth another visit, okay, or that was enough, I don't need to come back again. The first time I came to Europe, I also had a connecting flight in Paris, and then I spent like 10 hours just touring Paris. Being in Europe, I also maybe just take the bus to go to Amsterdam to get a flight to New York. And that's what I did the last time, where it's like from Amsterdam to New York, it was like 500 euros round trip. And then if I was supposed to fly from one of the airports close to me in Germany, it would have been like 700 or something like that. And then I paid maybe like 20 euros for the bus. When I take a night bus, I don't have to worry about accommodation for the night, and I get to the next place that I want to go. Just because you're not booking doesn't mean that you shouldn't be looking. And that's really my motto. It's like, even though I'm not traveling anywhere, I'm always searching for flights. You might be searching and you say, whoa, this is like super cheap, and then maybe you have time right there and then. I always aim to stay at hostels. And for those people that don't know what hostels are, so a hotel like this one is like you have your own bed and maybe your own bathroom. In a hostel, for example, you just have bunk beds there. And for example, I've stayed in a hostel with like 18 people in one room. And yeah, that was really interesting. I mean, different smells. When I would pay, for example, 30 euros for a hotel room, then I could be paying like 10 euros for a hostel, depending on where it is. And so when I was in India, I was paying like €1 per night for a hotel with breakfast. Another thing that I do is couch surfing. So couch surfing is actually a platform where you can sign up, you can create your profile, and let's say you're flying somewhere, then you can actually search like for people that are hosting in the area, and then you can contact them. I've done couch surfing, I think maybe now about 10 different countries. What I like about couch surfing is that you get to live like a local. When, for example, I was in India, the guy that I stayed with is like, in the room, it was just like a mat, right? And that's what I slept on. And for me, I really enjoy that, because then I felt, whoa, this is how the locals do it. And that was certainly much more memorable than if I was staying in a hostel or even like a hotel or something like that. So it gives you these authentic experiences. Also, the thing about it is that it's completely free. So you're staying with these people and it's like, you're not paying anything. And then I've also hosted people in my apartment, and it's a really extraordinary experience where you're hosting these people and you can talk with them, you can learn from them. When I went to Scandinavia, I also did couch surfing there because I wanted a way to, first of all, to cut the expenses for the trip. It really helped me to save a lot of money, but then I didn't just save money, but then I had some really amazing experiences. This is another item that can be super expensive because again, you're in a different country or even a different city, whatever it is, and you want to make sure that, okay, you eat food that is more or less wholesome so that you don't get sick or something. So it's always a gamble. It's like cheap food sometimes means that you might get sick, and then expensive food is just, yeah, you have to spend a lot of money. I'm not the one that's gonna go for, you know, those high-end restaurants. When I go to a country, I want to experience like the locals. That's how I travel, at least. Sometimes I just go into the supermarket and I just buy fruits, for example, or I buy bread and hummus. Oh, I love that. Just doing that, I save a lot of money. Instead of spending maybe like 20 euros at a restaurant, I go to the supermarket, I pay 5 euros and I have enough food. Because I stay at these hostels, then most times I can also cook at the hostel. Street food, you define it differently based on the country that you're in, right? Because in Asia, like, street food is real street food. In Europe, street food is actually like some shop or like a small like restaurant or whatever stuff. But in any case, like whatever it is, street food or local food, it tends to be cheaper most times. When I travel, I'm like so pumped and I'm so excited that eating sometimes becomes like not so important. Because when I was in Pakistan, for example, I went hiking for like 30 kilometers. That was like 10 hours of non-stop hiking. The only thing that I was eating was like fruits and just drinking water. That's it. My trips tend to be really short. So when I go to different countries, it's usually a short trip, maybe a couple days. The less time that I spend there, of course, naturally the less money that I'll spend. If you're traveling with other persons, then it's like your trip is going to be so much more cheaper than if you're traveling alone. If I can meet other people and travel with them, then it works out to be much cheaper than if I was traveling alone. I think of traveling as an investment. It's like, oh no, I'm getting goosebumps. It's like an investment, not just for myself, but even for my family members and for my friends. Like when I go to a different country and I experience their culture and I learn different things and I recognize, of course, that the stereotypes that everybody has about the country aren't true, it's like it's an opportunity for me then to share that information with others. It's easy to take my money and to book a trip, but then even to buy clothes or to buy gadgets and stuff, it's like something I'm like, yeah, do I really need clothes? I mean, they can last for another 2-3 years, you know? That's the attitude that I have towards things. So it's like, I'm more the guy, okay, I'm gonna spend my money on experiences instead of things. The fun that I have, the enjoyment and the memories that I have from traveling, they are priceless. And I mean, I wouldn't have had those experiences if I didn't like put down some money and say, okay, I'm just gonna go to this place. If you have any other tips or if you have any questions, you can just, of course, type them right down below, and of course I'll respond to them, whatever questions you might have. Share whatever ideas you have about how you actually cut down the expenses. Please subscribe to the channel and of course share the video with your friends, with your family members, people that you know are interested in traveling, and yeah, let's see where we'll go next time.